Welcome, everyone, to the 294th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's October 19th already. Uh, just a touch past 6. No one's going to notice. You're all watching it later.
Again, always fashionably late. That's just how we roll.
This is the first time I've been fashionable. Unless if you count the fedoras in high school.
No, you don't.
Height of fashion.
It truly was, though.
I guess I missed that.
Well, as you can hear, we have a few people with us. We got Fluffy's Eye wearing the ever lovely plushies on his head.
Wait, hold on. Come here, Derpy. Okay, now I do. She's on my head.
Awesome. And we got Alley Claw currently crafting more plushies.
Secret. You can't tell anybody.
Too late.
Oh, I guess.
Because you're living in a fashionable plushie cave.
I can't deny that. If toys are fashionable, that is, then I definitely can't deny that.
I mean, have you seen high fashion today?
I'd rather have my toys.
Yeah. And there might be doodles by a Vex in the background. Potentially. Alright, so let's kick this off.
You can't forget about you, Zom. You're
What?
also
I don't
here.
exist. I'm just a
don't?
figment of your
You do.
imagination.
Whether you want it to or not.
Well, heck, now I know.
You're not just in our spooky Halloween stories.
You aren't supposed to admit that I exist because then the tax man's gonna come after me. Alright, let's kick this off. We got an embroidered equations picture.
Aw, hell yeah.
Throwing this in here for the critique stream, idea was they're concerned as to why the colors of their cutie mark are running. Had a lot of trouble with their slightly lifted leg, not sure if the head's turned too far and accidentally broke the neck, or if the mane's hanging out too far.
Main's fine to me, I think.
Ponies turn their heads quite far.
Yeah, this is like a full owl back turn.
Yeah. But it's not unreasonable for the show.
Yeah.
You might need to make it a bit thicker than what I've drawn here, but just don't forget when a pony's leg squishes up, this joint kind of really bends in on itself. Like usually stretched out, it's more like this, but when it really bumps up, it'll be more like that. So just don't forget to draw that bump there, sort of like their knee. And you might just have a full overlap here, and you'll have like a full stick of the rest of the leg, and then the hoof pointing out at the back.
Vex bringing up a good point that the light source seems confused. There's if we look at some sources like this leg here, there's the light's on a different side than it is on the other parts of the body, so we want to just like focus on where the light source is going to be falling, and so keep that consistent throughout the picture.
I don't have much more to say on this one that we haven't said on the ones from previous weeks. I will bring up again. Would like to see more critique out of you for other artists. I know you do from time to time, but if you can keep it up, that would be useful. Because you are a very skilled artist and you seem to pump out enough art and solve enough of the problems that you will have more than a vast knowledge on answering a bunch of their questions. And applying that knowledge to other people will definitely help reinforce it for yourself.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just sketching around, seeing I might pull the head up just a little smidge more. But yeah, I think the turn's fine. Just needs a little more area for the neck to live, I think.
Mhm.
Shall we move on? Oh,
Yeah.
no, we.
Oh, no?
Nope, we're good. I thought someone left and it was Vex, and I thought it was you. And it wasn't. Just
All right.
silly old me.
We're going to move on to this horse. This one is posted by. Sick. Refine Wolf 10. Yeah. So, just a heads up, Refine Wolf. You posted 5 pictures this week. Um, just want to have you pump the brakes a little bit there. The only reason I say that is because, as you might notice, most of it didn't get critiqued, and that's because not enough people are critiquing. Um, you can help this problem by offering some critique up to other people. You seem to have some nice smooth lines, and you're not too bad at character interactions and character generation. And I bet you can answer some questions, even just minor questions for people, if that's all you're feeling up to. But dang, does it help others so they aren't like you and not having critique for a full week. Also, on that, don't post too much. So you kept out of the 24-hour posting period, which was nice, but I mean, your art wasn't getting critiques at that point, so it. How do I put this? It might slow down on the posting. Because there's a lot of art there for people to go through, and if they have less to look at, it's more likely that your pictures that you want to get critiqued are going to get looked at by others. One of the easy ways to deal with this is creating a gallery of pictures. So Reddit has a posting features where you can post multiple pictures under one post, or you can use Imgur or whatever to do all that. And you just make a gallery of all your latest pictures that you have questions about. And be sure to ask questions. Posting a picture and being like, hey, this is my OC. Check it out. Isn't really easy to critique because we aren't sure what you were struggling with, what questions you had, what things you would like to explore. So yeah, that's a few points I have for you. Now I do find this picture adorable. You made it as for your friend, I believe. Got something special to distribute to a friend of mine. Yeah. So you made it for a friend of yours, and that's absolutely wonderful. So for your next ones, can we get some questions? What are you struggling with? What about this picture made you want to post it to the subreddit to get help on it?
Hmm.
All right,
It's very
now let's
important
go.
to think about which direction, like what it is that you are trying to improve with, because it helps us to help you. Oh, that's not a pen. This is a pen. Aggie controls, not CSP controls. There we go. This is a very cute pointer.
I love the colors.
Senna or Cena?
Cena. Like John Cena.
Oh my god. Probably no relation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have another layer underneath where I can just do some white brushing. I'll put it way down so I don't interfere with other people's stuff as well. 6, yes. Ooh. Bit hard to see when I'm drawing. switch. There we go. So I'm just sort of rounding up the muzzle a bit because you've got sort of like a very, very like square box nose going on, which is fine if you want to use the box method to build up like where the snout should be, but it's really for placement more than shape. Like the both ponies in the show as well as like real life horses really don't have like a jagged square snout. In fact, really no mammal does that I know of. The show in particular, which it looks like it's sort of trying to emulate the style of, has a very rounded and plump sort of style. So it's best to, if that's the thing you're trying to go for, to just go for a round. I mean, you saw what I did there. Just do it again at the side. It's not always easy to get the stroke down in like one go. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Most of my drawings actually, I don't do them in one go, and it requires me to go in and just edit and take it like one little bit at a time. So there we go. You have an happy accent and it looks good. I prefer to have the eyes sort of start in this. Oops, that's not a good color. In this like center point here, in the bridge of the nose. There'll be another one on the other side, sort of covered by the nose itself. Though that is my style, and you don't have to do it that way if you want to go for more of the oval-shaped MLP eyes. But there are different ways to do things, and it's fun to experiment with styles. So whichever you prefer to go for, there are all sorts of different options for you. Nostrils, there we go. Just bring in the back of the neck a little bit there, and be sort of more like this. With the clothes sort of being. What sort of clothes is this? It's like a skin tight thing, then it makes sense. But if it's a shirt, usually there'd be some kind of wrap around, like a collar maybe. But whatever you want to do is fine. Let's see if I do the main. Probably make more sense to have the main start from here-ish, like a bit higher up. And if you really want to have it like loop over, so you can do this sort of thing here. Sorry, I'm interfering with your drawing up there. That's fine. If you do want to go for like the covering the eye part, maybe have it sort of more like a sort of hanging down like this. You can sort of loop it around. Ooh. Depends what sort of style you want to go for and what you're married to. But it's always worth experimenting. Just make sure to keep an understanding of like how hair works and like how it's going to function as an object. And you can experiment. Play with it until it has the right kind of feel that you want to go for.
All right, shall we roll on to our next horse?
Oh. Hell yeah. Wonderful stuff. And please ask us questions next time.
All right, we got this little horse by New Phantom Dude 333. It's my OC by Shark Prince Fish Stick, colored version and non-colored version. I'm hoping you're Shark Prince Fish Stick. Yeah, I think he is. Anyway, yeah, because he's drawn this OC twice. So this pencil drawing. You have a pencil drawing that went with this, that is very, very well built up and a good pencil drawing, and then you've done digital over it. And unfortunately, the digital has suffered a little bit on in comparison to it. This happens quite often with digital because the softness, the ability to make mistakes and have them just accepted with traditional is a great part of traditional, where digital is much more, it's much harder to hide those little imperfections that sort of make the flavor of traditional because they look off in digital. So I'm interested. What were you using to draw this? Because we see every line is on the ends of them. They're all solid. So they're like your stroke is built up of a stroke like this and filled in the entire path down. Versus ours, where on tablets you'll have basically a point to start and then a wider end and then end at a point depending on pressure sensing levels. But generally it always ends in a point. Same with traditional, where as you lift off, you're getting just a little bit less pressure, so it's going to get to a small, nice point. So I'm interested. Was this done on like a cell phone, or was it done on a drawing tablet without pressure sensitivity? Was it maybe done on a drawing tablet but with a program like MS Paint where it doesn't support pressure sensitivity? Please update us on that if you can, because that sort of does change the critique a bit. But the gist of that one is, my suggestion would be either hang around traditional, because traditional is great. I love traditional. That's basically all I do. This is the most time I spend on digital is on these drawing streams. It's not a scary thing. There's plenty of colors. You can choose all the different brush flavors you ever wanted and more. I mean, you can't easily stamp like people's faces over and over again just by a click, but we can get pretty close by making custom rubber stamps.
And there are other options too, like if you don't say have a drawing tablet or something that can give you that pressure sensitivity, or if your only option is a mouse, vectoring. Vectoring is a great path to look into
Yes,
if you want to
I've been
color your
doing that more
sketches.
recently.
So yeah, there's plenty of options to get you that nice clean look. Cause it's a shame because your sketch is so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so nice.
Yeah, let us know, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, as far as the character goes, the traditional sketch, perfect. I don't see any issues with it. The digital sketch, or the digital coloring of it, there's some gaps left in the coloring, specifically around these sort of areas. When using the paint bucket tool, be careful with its fill settings. If you're using it, you can adjust the fill settings to do more and less, and be more aggressive and less aggressive. That's often just amount of tuning you have to do for it. If you lay down your outlines first and then do the fill bucket second, as opposed to doing it against the traditional picture that's there, it's often cleaner with it. But on those small gaps, it has a problem filling it in.
Mm.
Clever
You've always
software has fixed it since, but
Well, I still always have to go through and fill in the corners, though they're usually much smaller and more subtle than these. But it's always a thing. You're always gonna have to go in and just like, if you're using layers, which you should be, and your colors are on a different layer than the line art, then you can just go in with like a pen tool and just like physically place the color down with like a pen or brush or whatever in those little gaps just to fill it out.
yeah. I did notice on the traditional picture, there's these two things that are left in the eyes, and what those are is eye spots. MLP has them everywhere. If you see them on a person, they probably have cataracts, but on a pony, perfectly fine. They are the eye spot, the eye shine. There's filled in black. There's a whole bunch of different names for it, but
I just
they
got my shine
yeah, they help bring life to the character's
reflection.
eyes.
Yeah, it's basically when you look into an actual person's eyes, you see all like the light sources and windows and sun, all the really strong light sources. You'll see as like a sharp reflection in a person's eyes. Whereas the darks are kind of hard to see in that reflection, so it kind of creates this effect of just like seeing these like light spots. So that's sort of what that's meant to represent.
All right, let's roll on to our next horse.
Woo.
Now I'm thinking about beautiful shiny eyes. Human
All
eyes are beautiful.
right, this one
Speaking
is
of
by.
beautiful,
Oh, you're beautiful. This one's by Environmental Gas 688. Critique request: an attempt to shade ponies. I have no idea what I was doing though. You know, if you had no idea what you're doing, that's a pretty good job for having
Mm.
no idea. Um,
what app did you
Suggestions.
screenshot it from with this the corner?
I think it came out
Sorry.
of a chat window.
Yeah. Anyway, ignoring that, or
Either
even
way,
replacing it.
quick suggestions. Go check out our sideboard. You'll find beginner's guides and exterior guides and tutorials. They're two different buttons, so feel free to click both. They'll give you some nice guides on creating 3D of like basing your characters in 3D spaces, figuring out
Hmm.
how light works and shines around. It's the base tutorials on them.
Yeah,
It does go into a little bit of detail, but honestly, it's something that can be explored for decades of time. Um,
I'm gonna give you an idea,
oh,
and you can just play with this. If I just get a different color, like this, yeah. And if you don't want to draw like the entirety of the background, it's very important to illustrate that there is a light source here, and that light source is gonna be sort of bouncing off things and giving reflections. So what I'm going to do is just I sketched out a very basic looking thing of a chest of drawers, and maybe there's other things. Maybe this person's sitting on like a rug, like this. Well, that was terrible, but yeah. Maybe there's something over here as well, like a bookcase. It goes a cool shop here. If you turn off my original thing, we're starting to get the idea of there being something in the room. A bit lower that. There we go. Um, It's important that there is sort of like background stuff. This is a light source. It is going to be projecting this strong light, and it's important to actually make it feel like it has that effect. I would definitely like brighten up the candle flame a bit. Make the shines on this pony more yellow colored because it is a yellow light and we're going to be seeing these sort of warm reflections coming off of them. And although you do also have the moonlight coming from the background, this is a situation where there's two light sources. And that's why I'm not going to do any more than what I just did, because we're seeing the candlelight reflecting off this character in this location over here, and the moonlight covering everything else. So it creates this lovely sort of like dual color sort of situation going on. But definitely putting stuff in the environment, because otherwise they are just floating in like a field of emptiness. If that's what's meant to be happening, that's fine. If they aren't in a bedroom and this is just an abstract thing, and they're meant to be just like in a void, then I completely understand that. It's just up to you. And if they are in an environment, remember there is light flooding from the window. There's light flooding coming from the candle. You're gonna see some of it in the background. But playing with colors and playing with lines and like implications can be really fun.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd add, which I mean, Fluffy pretty much pointed out all the things I'd say, but um, your lighting you have right now is a great start, because right now you have very nice rim lighting. Rim lighting is a type of lighting that's very hard and usually only affects the outlines, hence the title rim lighting. Um, but we can get more light softly covering the pony. Yes, the candle would be a very hard glow, and you might mostly get rim lighting from a candle, but you could also,
Hmm.
with the distance they are from the candle, you might also get a soft glow with the rim light. And as Fluffy mentioned, the moonlight coming in is going to bask the pony in a soft glow rather than a super hard punchy one, like a rim light. So just going over with like a soft airbrush to really pull down the glow across the pony. Let me see if I can pick a good color that'll go over this pony. Hmm. So we want like a warm blue for the moonlight. And that can really just go all over the pony on the areas, um, especially anything
There we
that's
go.
most exposed to the window itself. So a lot along the back, along the legs, the tail, a bit on the back of the hair. We can get a larger area of softer light. I'd even blend it more and have less lines, but yeah, you can really pull that out. Give them a little more light, and then of course you can go
Mhm.
over top with your really awesome rim lights. Let's get that really sharp edge and definition, like with the furniture on the outside.
I expect that to be soft.
A lot of this is playing an observation. Observation of light is a very fun thing to play with. It will take you a lot of time to get your mind around because, oh boy, is it crazy! Light is a wild, wild thing. But keep at those studies. Check out the sideboard, as I said. If you're willing to really get into it, doing some life studies of light can also be a very, very useful thing. Yeah, keep it up.
This is really beautiful work.
Shall we move on to our
Yeah,
next horse?
looks
Oh,
good.
hi, Pix.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Pixie.
Yeah, when I said that I was going to be here for the stream, I meant I was going to be here half an hour late for the stream. So
Oh no.
It's
this picture
okay.
looks good.
All right, let's go on to Suborgans, right beneath that one.
Ah,
Ooh,
this is a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is by Suborgan and just played with crazy colors and wanted to draw something massive.
Success.
It certainly is.
very fun. Good job.
I guess everything in the background is just meant to sort of be like cracks in a window pane, but each one being a different like dimension. I can see that. I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
out because there's this like very steady sort of zigzagging shape going on, whereas maybe sort of like differentiating and breaking up these parts might actually sort of help a bit, but it's up to you. Cracks are fun to play with.
Mm.
Some other scene. I don't know.
Mm.
It is cool that you've sort of challenged yourself to draw this. There's a lot going on and it's great.
I'd probably expect this to be obscured by sort of the thing there, especially with the the little bits of like highlights coming on here. Because if this whole like thing was like coming out in front, then there'd be a lot more like these whole like back walls illuminated and stuff like that. So just the very very bottom of that uh, circle black hole sort of thing would be getting obscured. I think just a tiny little bit from this angle at least. I like how defined everything in the background is versus how uh, out of focus all of this is. Creates a really nice, interesting sort of a look. It might be good to make this a little bit more defined. The little bits and pieces of things here, just to sort of help balance out the piece visually and all that sort of stuff. Because it's like very very high detail, high detail, high detail, very low detail, and just a little bit more high detail over here to balance things out a little bit, make it look a little bit more. Yeah.
think
in general, really interesting.
yeah, it's all super interesting. I love the background, the details, especially have going on over here, with the pyramid itself. Like the steps really sell so nicely to me on this whole perspective. The thing I think that really my head fixates on is your paintings are absolutely wonderful, but I feel like something that you might need to pay attention to is despite painting and not really using a lot of line work, you still have to consider line weight and the thickness and thinness of your lines in a painting. Like if we look at Sunburst over here, almost all of your lines, let me just quick turn off my layer. I haven't done much, but almost all of your lines are the same thickness for each of the details you want to do. Like the smile there, let me just get a new color blue, sure. Like the smile here is all the same thickness as well as the cheek, as well as the eye, as well as the horn. But objects are gonna be thinner and thicker when you look at them. Like a smile might be very thin, up front and then get a little more drastic towards the back, and you might get a little thicker crease there, and then it'll thin out into nothing because that's the illusion that a 3D object can bring. So it just might be good to look at your line thicknesses despite not using line art, and that'll really sell the form of your piece itself. If I had my right tools, I think I could do something, but that's something that really stands out to me, and you're losing the shape of the pony because of that. And I know they're blurred out, but even something blurred out, it'll still have some indication of its thicknesses, and the way the shadow drops in those thicknesses. Like even in the horn here, we could go for something a little thinner, because these horns don't have huge, gapes in them. I mean, you could go for that method, but then wouldn't there be like a gaping hole here because there's a huge gap in them. So it really depends on what you want to go after. But yeah, keep in mind those thicknesses because they'll exist there. The line weight exists. Oh, and also his nose disappeared.
I know.
I forgot the nose.
All of the lines and all that kind of sort of stuff are all like blurred out and all that kind of stuff. But like if you look up here and with the glasses, all this is very like strongly defined. It's not blurred out. And same for the outline. It's all very strongly defined and not blurred out. And I think that kind of contributes a little bit to the is this intentional sort of feeling. So if you're going to do some like all this being blurred out and all that kind of thing, keep what you're doing up here with this hair and what you're doing up here with Starlight's hair, keep that going throughout the rest of it. Keep it, most of it have that sort of fuzzy sort of outer line thing. Or think about what Ali said and have different because of like how a camera works when it like does that sort of stuff at different depths. There's got like different amounts of space away from the camera lens. There's going to be like different amounts of being fuzzed out versus being not. So you could have out here where the glasses are and all that kind of sort of stuff, it not being quite as blurred out and being a little bit more defined, but match that with most of the areas like in the same distance away from the camera also not being as blurred out, and then the stuff that like comes a lot closer to the camera still is very blurred out and all that kind of sort of stuff. I think you've got it going decently with Starlight over here. Just feel free to push it a little bit more and keep it going, and don't be scared of like having the little tiny details even on pictures like this and even on subjects like that. Different line weights are good, and it's fun to experiment with them and all that kind of sort of stuff. You can see like the little tiny bits of like stuff that I've added to the around here, and it's not a lot. It's literally a tiny little bit, just to make it look a little tiny bit more interesting. But I think it's I think it's a pretty marked difference between. Let me grab all my stuff. Between sort of that and that, it's like just a little tiny bit, but it definitely makes it a bit more interesting and feel a bit more alive and all that kind of sort of stuff. But it's a great drawing, great painting, great all that stuff. Looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I added a tiny little bit of vignetting around the corners, but nothing major. Just the tiniest little bit to sort of reinforce everything. Great picture. Great drawing. Good job. Good job keeping on the bigger pictures and the bigger drawings and keeping on doing that sort of stuff. It looks really good. Always exciting to see the stuff you're digging into.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
All right, shall we move on to our next lovely picture?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, let's go.
RD. All right.
RD.
What?
You said RD.
This is by AOE Cyber Tiger. It's finally finished. I give you Silver Moon, the Rainbringer of Night.
This is such a sweet and cute picture. I love it.
Heck yeah. Good picture.
The first
job
thing
with
I
the
think
cloud.
jumps out. Yeah, absolutely. I love the cloud. The first thing I think that jumps out to me is that the stars are too uniform. So what we have basically here looks like a pattern, whereas if you look up in the sky, the space is not this structured. So what typically, okay, I do have a brush. It's just really light. Is you're gonna see the stars, sort of coming in different places and different sort of um concentrations. We've got some people doing it in different colors, but yeah, just scattered about. Not under the moon. That doesn't make any sense. There we go. Which actually, that is also another point. The moon is not a sliced shape like that. It is a sphere. It's a sphere that we're only seeing one side of. So make sure you don't put any stars in that gap, because essentially this is what we're seeing. Just the sun is shining light on that moon, and it's bouncing back on us like this. But everything under that is the same. It's just the moon, but just dark.
One of the really cool things about doing the stars in this kind of sort of way is you need to draw less of them. You don't need to, fill out. You don't need to fill out this whole entire space because you can just have like a few a tiny little group of stars here, a little group here, a little group here, a little group here, and then you're done. It's you do the same thing when you're doing most things that are like patterns, like brick walls and all that kind of sort of stuff. It's like if you're doing a brick wall, you don't want to spend time meticulously drawing every single brick. Instead, what you want to do is you want to be like, here's a little bit of the brick pattern here. Here's a little bit of the brick pattern here. And then, people can generally just complete it themselves. Their head auto-completes it, their eyes auto-complete it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cool thing going on over here?
I just saw like a little tip the other day. If you really want like randomized stars, you can just lightly like draw lines across your canvas, and any place the lines intersect is where you draw your star, and that kind of helps your brain from not just like doing stars everywhere. They're a little bit more spread out. They feel a little bit more random. It's a technique. I know traditional. You could still do it. Just remember to keep a really light hand and get those lines nice and ghosty. So once you figure out the placement, you can just get rid of those nice and easy with an eraser, soft eraser. But yeah, it's another. Everyone else stuff is great. There's so
Heck,
many options.
I like it. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna move this the leg that's closest to us, so it's in a little bit of a different sort of pose. It's not going to be anything too crazy. It's just going to be like Yeah, something kind of like that, I guess. I'm bad at drawing ponies, so don't worry about this.
That's not true.
But yeah, it can be good to think about putting the different like the legs and the forearms and the forelegs in different positions. So, for example, this one and this one, it can be good to have one of them, here pushing on the cloud, and then have the other one be like, pushing on the cloud, maybe doing something like that, and pushing on the cloud with this part there instead, and have. I'm not happy with that leg at all. But have one leg that's like doing something like this, and then have the other leg do something similar or something like that. Just do something different, because it basically it just makes your picture look more interesting. You don't need to do it, but it's a fun little thing to sort of push your picture to the next level and to experiment with and all that. So I know I said this before, but really good job with the cloud. A lot of people it's really hard for people to sort of create this mix of like cloud shape and the little spirals and all that kind of sort of stuff. And yeah, good job. Whenever I'm messing with it, what I tend to do is I tend to start off with like a bit of a flattish shape on the bottom, and then sort of build the spirals up from there. And create like little. But that's just me. I've messed with that a lot, and I've found that to be a pretty interesting, useful way to go about it. But as this picture shows, you can go about making clouds however you want to.
All right. Shall we move on to our next picture?
Heck
Let's
yeah.
do it.
Good art.
Super cute.
All right. Well, we got a picture by Supermarine Spitfire next to it. Let's go to that one.
Aww.
Who is this? I've never heard of this person before.
Ever? Weird.
Never ever. They drew a moon as well. Good job.
Yeah, and this one's a sphere.
Yep.
So, going through the description, the end part says it's a significant concern that even after 2 years worth of drawing, albeit in bursts of activity and inactivity, a perfect orientation and bending of legs is one of the many traits I failed to master. Acquiring and using reference images is not helping me here. Connected to this is my observations and sketching skills appear to be declining over the course of this year's Inktober. Huh.
That means that you're a failure as an artist and you should quit art. No, joking. What that probably means is that I've seen a lot of your art, a lot of your pictures, a lot of stuff you've posted. Most of the things you've posted, or that I've seen from that you post, is ponies, and has a list of references on it. A list of other art that you referenced. That's super cool. It's referencing things is amazing and awesome and cool. What can be really nice for the problem that I think you might have is kind of a lack of 3D headspace kind of thing. I'm not sure about the words to use because I woke up about 20 minutes ago. But being able to sort of construct a 3D scene in your head and sort of position things is one of the most vital pieces to like being able to make interesting poses, and having all of these, different things look good and work out, and knowing how these different bits, like, if you have a shoulder here and a body here and the foreleg goes here and this other foreleg goes here, how does all that squish together and how does all that work and all that kind of sort of stuff. the best thing that I've found that's improved that for me is life drawing. If you look in the sidebar, there's the challenges, and there's one challenge in particular that is titled Life Drawing or something like that. It's right near the end. It's one that I made, and it's also got a video of me going through like a bit of a life drawing session, and sort of the things that I'm thinking about and the way I'm approaching it and all that kind of sort of stuff. But doing that kind of thing, and especially the restricted amounts of time, so 1 minute, 2 minute, or whatever, and building up, it might help you get a bit more gestural stuff in your picture. Because if I look at your sort of construction lines underneath everything, I'm seeing a lot of very particular approaching things in this sort of way, building stuff up in this kind of a thing, which looks super good. You've got these, which but what I'm not quite seeing as much of is, for example, are these sort of like gestural strokes, trying to figure things out, trying to work things out before you start adding on the structure of what size the body is, what size the head is, and all that kind of sort of stuff. So having the limited amounts of time, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minutes to look at a reference, to look at a picture of an actual photo of an animal, and then try to get down the rough gist of it, the gesture, not looking at the particular getting the head shape right or whatever, but that will probably help to make your drawings feel like they're more real, especially in terms of getting the squishes down and the all that sort of stuff. So look at the life drawing challenge on the sidebar, and if you have some time, look at there we go, gesture, and look at gesture sketching on YouTube. And there's going to be a lot of interesting advice there. There's going to be a lot of interesting things that people are talking about. One of the really interesting things with gesture sketching is that every artist approaches it differently, But generally, they're going to talk about things like line of action, of getting the limbs down and the chest and the hips down and all that kind of sort of stuff. So have a bit of a look at gesture sketching on YouTube and see where you get to. And if you ever want any more help or anything like that, feel free to drop into Discord. And you're already in Discord. I think you said this last time that I mentioned coming into Discord. But
Yep,
feel free to
they're
ping
in
me
our
sometime.
Discord.
Yeah, perfect. Feel free to anytime where it's like a roughly normal hour in Brisbane, Australia, ping me and yell at me and be like, "Ha, I want to talk," or "I want to pop into a call and go over stuff." So yeah, feel free to drag me into that, and I can probably help you out with stuff.
I would like to offer a different suggestion. and here
Trader.
it is. You've said you've started and stopped a few times and changed. One of the things I have noticed is all of it's digital. Maybe time to change up your medium. I know I did this a while ago when I got bored of art, and it helped me enjoy art again. And turns out I was just bored of the medium, or bored of the restrictions or limitations of the medium, or the feel of the medium. I'm not quite sure on the answer there. But either way, it was bored of the medium. I switched over to traditional and started playing in that playground, because that's a massive playground. It didn't make my art any better by any means, but it did allow me to relax and try some new things so I could continue expanding my existing art knowledge. And And sometimes that's just what you have to do, because you're going to hit one of those plateaus where you feel like you aren't breaking through, getting anywhere, and just getting a new perspective, changing up things is going to help you hopefully move past that plateau. Because, oh boy, they happen. They happen all the time. You're like, yeah, art improvement, and what the heck? How come I'm not improving? You just sit there for years going, how come my art's still the same? And eventually something, clicks. And it's different for everyone. Everyone is different. I've seen some people never hit that plateau, and they're just like, keep running up, and you're like, dear God, what are you, some type of art god? And then other people who are just battling against it all times. Every human's different. Don't base yourself against other people, because that's unfair for yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure you're enjoying it, because it should be fun. It should be a hobby, unless if you're being paid. And then it should be a paid hobby.
So this looks like, either little markers or ballpoint pen or something along those lines. Get a pencil and try with a pencil. Just see how it goes. If it's bad, awesome. You might still have fun with it. If it's good, awesome. You're probably going to have fun with it. Try, if you go to like any art shop or even any like newsagent or place that sells magazines or that sort of stuff, usually they'll have like a little stationery section, and there'll be like at least one or two little graphite sticks. Sorry, charcoal sticks.
Yeah.
Just these little pieces of charcoal that you buy and that you can use. Try messing with one of those. Even, try picking up a crap little $5 watercolor kit, and it'll come with a brush, and try doing some stuff with just paint and mess about. Like LD said, messing around and changing mediums and doing all that sort of stuff is a really good way to revitalize sort of your passion and to just break things up. I know that in the little life drawing group that I'm in, I bring different tools every single meetup, every single like little session. And some weeks it's great and I love it and it's perfect and it's amazing and it's the best. And some weeks I'm absolutely horrible and it's bad and it's the worst. But I still have fun and I don't let it, I don't worry myself too much with like how it looks. And especially when you're getting into, life drawing and gesture sketching and like, stuff that like involves timed stuff, you're gonna have to have that sort of attitude of like, let's see how it goes, and it'll be bad, but that's fun. Yeah.
And sorry, my previous comments about switching to traditional, that's just an example of what I've done. So I used to do only digital, and then I switched to traditional. This is obviously traditional with potentially some digital sketching over top, but it could just be a pen. But either way, switching up what you're using in the traditional world can also change it. I have gone through a whole bunch of different pencil types just to find what type of pencil I enjoy. Same as like paints and stuff. I've played with gouache, I've played with watercolor, acrylics, oils, different mediums to paint on, from canvases to canvas papers to mixed media papers to stretch your own canvas to even walls. Just trying stuff, because that's the fun. Also, changing what you're focusing on can also be a good way to do this up. You're staring at... Oh, shit. One sec. Someone ban that person. One sec. Just banning a person.
Yep.
And wait.
Oh yeah, this person got hacked.
Rip. Unfortunately, I cannot, because I do not possess the power to ban.
All right, I kicked them from the server. Anyway, sorry about that.
Wait, Tom, you didn't delete the messages. The messages are still all over the server. They posted in every room.
All right,
I'm going through the ones I can.
Someone want to help me out with that one? Just finish explaining what I was explaining of trying, like, not just horse, maybe try backgrounds, try that type of thing.
Yep. I'll do it. You can focus on doing things. So yeah, just trying out different things. Like this is a horse. We all love horse. Horse is the best and amazing and lovely. But you drew a little moon here. Maybe you could try drawing some like little shrubs or little maybe a little flower or night flower or moon flower sort of thing going on over here. You can try like having it look like the moon or something fun and have some flowers and all that sort of stuff. Trying out bits of art and different focuses when you're drawing and when you're painting and when you're doing all that kind of sort of stuff can be really nice and really good. And one of the pieces of advice that I got for getting interested in drawing backgrounds and this and that sort of stuff is treat your backgrounds like they're a character, because the background, where your characters are, all that sort of stuff, it plays a very like really central storytelling role, and it can honestly be really fun, especially because on characters you can have like this mix of like organic shapes and more straight lines. If you have a character with like glasses, you can do that sort of stuff. And backgrounds can be the same. They can be like a lot of like different little organic shapes to mess with, and all that stuff. They can have like straight lines or inorganic shapes in it and all that sort of stuff. So treat your backgrounds as they're a character, and maybe mess around with them sometime. One of the things that I started doing when I was initially trying to get into drawing was I would carry around a book every single day. Crap little book, not specifically designed for sketching, but just something with outlines in it, and a pen. And I'd carry that with me every single day, all day. And now and then I'd just take 5 minutes to, sketch what was around me. To, if I'm standing at a bus stop, maybe sketch the shopping center on the other side of the bus stop. Or, if I'm on the bus, maybe take 5 minutes to sort of sketch what I see in the bus and all that kind of sort of thing. And that can be a really interesting way to sort of build up your repertoire when it comes to background sketching, and just to get more sketching practice in general of different things, because you're always going to be around different things, even like inside your house or anything, like looking around and sitting in different rooms and whatever. And if you want to look more into that, the urban sketching. I know that Facebook is the least cool thing in the planet, but if you look up urban sketching, there's probably going to be like an urban sketching group in your city, or in your town or wherever you live, and it's just going to be people that like decided they want to carry around a sketchbook and something and just like draw what was around them, and that can be really useful and really interesting and inspiring to see what the people around you are making out of the environment and buildings and plants and trees that are around you. I hope that was a sufficient replacement for what you were going to say, LD.
Yes, that is what was going on.
Perfect.
Sorry, my brain completely flatlined when all suddenly it's like, oh no, this is everywhere. I actually have to do work.
I know.
I had to use my leftover secret powers.
I don't know what you're talking about, Allie. You don't have
what?
leftover powers. That was
What?
just
Nothing?
me clicking on channels. Totally.
Right, absolutely.
Yep. Brilliant.
Okay. Let's move on to our last picture submitted today.
But great picture, great drawing. I love your work, Supermarine. Feel free, come yell at me. Yell at me anytime.
Character interaction is wonderful. I love character interaction.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, this one is by Anonymous12211325. I believe they're actually in our Picarto chat right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Made Twilight again to see how I can improve on something I already made, but I can see my errors and I would like to ask for some advice on hair, eyes, and maybe ears.
Heck yeah. You can see Fluffy fixing things. Moving the eyes closer to the front of the face. And once you do that, you can like pull this whole section like closer to the back of the head, and that sort of stuff. Near the top of these legs, the forelegs, I like to have a little bit of like a out thing just for like the whole shoulder. There's going to be a shoulder here, and it's good to sort of try that off by like letting things expand a little bit.
I have noticed, looking on the post, you got a bunch of critique by 4 different people. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna call it 3 people. That one's just giving positive kudos. Positive kudos are great, but 3 actual
Yeah.
critiques. Respond to your critics, even if it's just nothing more than cool. Thank you very much. Art is a conversation, so is critique. Even more so, I would say, because we're trying to assist you in the best way possible. So if you want to start a conversation with those people about what they've said and how you can maybe zero in on some of the knowledge that they're trying to give you, that is amazingly useful. And most of these people are more than willing to start up that conversation, or else they wouldn't have posted the critique to start.
Yeah.
So, start talking with those people who are willing to spend their time to critique you, because oh boy, will that ever help. Things like these questions, they have already answered this, and Dreaming of Pony, Dop has done an amazing job with the red line. They've basically said exactly what we're doing, but because you're here, now we can talk with you directly. Is there anything that they have already talked about that doesn't make sense to you, or that you would like some clarification on that we might be able to give you live?
As someone who's posted a fair bit of critique, it's really good to when people respond, because that convinces me to do more critiques of their future stuff. Because if I like post a whole bunch of critiques and a whole bunch of stuff and I get nothing, it's just like probably not
Discouraging.
gonna. Yeah, it's
Very.
discouraging.
And this
That's
isn't a
all good.
critique on you in particular. A lot of people do the same thing, but you're here, so now we get to do this conversation.
Yep.
Don't feel like we're picking on you.
We're bullying you as a proxy for everybody else who isn't here right now. You came to this thing, so good job. Yeah.
Already a step up among most of them.
You can see Fluffy doing so many amazing things. Oh my gosh! And look at my bad mane. Look at my bad
No,
mane.
I like the shape.
Yeah.
I'd like some pointers on what I asked about, because it's a little tough on me. Okay. I think the stream's like 45 seconds or so behind, because I've seen mice
no.
move that. Yeah, it's
Oh no.
some days it's bad.
That's fine. It's a lot of the stuff, like the shape of the eyes that Fluffy's done here, and oh my god, everything's dead. But a lot of the things, like the shape of the eyes and the shape of the ears, a lot of it is going to be just looking at stuff that other artists have done, looking at actual pictures of horses and pictures of dogs and cats, and slowly over time sort of picking out the things that you want to steal from there, the way that they draw things. So you've got my front hoofers here, you've got Fluffy's back hoofers and Fluffy's eye shape and all that sort of stuff. Still what looks good. The ears are a really good thing, are a really good part that you can simplify. Instead of this this sort of shape, what I like to do is have like one fairly flat shape and then one curved shape, and it's just a really good way to sort of push the direction of things. It's like
There are so many ways to experiment with like air shapes, and you can end up going like really crazy with it and do what I do, which is really weird, but I love it.
Like half a
It's
foot
very,
long.
very weird and very specific.
Placement.
There are so many different ways of doing airs.
So I would like to point this out. You've submitted, I think, 3 pictures. Three pictures. Your amount of improvement from 17 days is colossal. You need to take a quick moment, pat yourself on the back. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and show off your amount of improvement because this is great. So people on the stream will get to see it. People on the Aggie won't. Sorry, guys and gals. This is their picture posted 17 days ago of this Twilight.
I
It's when you
remember
I'm on the
them.
stream and I can see it. That one. Yeah, I remember doing that one.
Yeah, no, this is
That's
impressive.
absolutely staggering. Yeah. Look at you putting the mane on the head, like I had suggested. Yeah, you've gotten so much better. Incredible. If I can turn off my mess. Where's my mouse? There is. Look at it.
You
So
you
much
need
better.
to. One of the things that artists are going to inevitably do, and not all artists, but a lot of artists, me included, you inevitably get too hard on yourself. You're like, hey, how come I'm not as good as these people? How come my art's not improving? I've listened to them. I've drawn a few pictures. How come my art's not this good? Thousands of hours, thousands of pictures
Hmm.
to get to
Yes, yes, absolutely.
amazing levels of skill, and that's not a discouragement. That's a fact. But what I'll tell you is, as we can see in maybe 20, 30 hours that you've been drawing, huge amount of improvement. Your art has been improving leaps and bounds and will continue improving. It's going to go quick and slow down and then maybe go quick again and slow down. You'll start hitting these plateau points, which will be really, really annoying and frustrating. But as long as you keep at it, you're going to go places. You'll get that 1,000 hours in, that 1,000 pictures, you know, whatever it takes to get there, you'll get there. As long as you keep at it, and it'll be great. You'll have a probably great time doing it.
So, all right. The thing for you to do right now, that the important thing that's going to help you so much is, you can ask questions about, hey, what about the eye shape? Hey, what about the shoulder? Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? Cool, all good, all good. The thing that's going to help you the most isn't trying to draw the best, like trying to fix absolutely everything that's wrong with your picture or whatever. The thing that's going to help you the most is keeping excited. Is keeping excited enough to keep on drawing. To be honest, you drew a Twilight. Yeah, Twilight's awesome and cute and cool. Yeah. I got into drawing pictures because into drawing in general because I wanted to draw cute ponies, and I've always kept that. I've always been like, hey, my drawings are bad, but hey, I get to draw cute ponies. Let's go. And that's what's going to be. You need to find out. What are you in this for? Are you in this for cute pictures? Are you in this for cool
Yeah.
stuff? Are you in this for whatever? Basically, what gives you energy about drawing, and then
It's
hey, you can
it's the whole thing
do
of
more of that.
the end or the journey is the point really, and I think trying to be like, well, I need to be good at art, therefore I need to just be good at art right now. I need to do whatever it takes to learn and get better so I can be good right now, so that I can then draw good pictures. And really, it's a case of just you draw pictures and they gradually get better as you just it's each one is just a stepping stone. Each one is just the next drawing in your feed, in your gallery, in your journey. Each picture is very, very important because each of those is what makes you a good artist.
And you might be like, oh yeah, but I'm learning so much. I'm changing. It's going a lot better all the time. There's going to be a point where you reach a point where you're just like you're pretty decent at art, and then
Yeah.
it's going to be really slow, and then that's when you're going to need to like lean on this. What do you
Hmm.
find? What do you find exciting? What do you find fun?
Yeah.
And leaning on that. So I've known a lot of artists that have powered through the trying to draw the best and doing all this and doing all that and doing all that and done that for months, and then they've just like ended up almost like quitting art because it's like that's the thing that's been guiding them and pushing them throughout, and you inevitably get to a point where you just can't quickly improve anymore because
Yeah.
you're at a decent point. So
They
find
say
what
ponies
excites
are my
you.
energy, and I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Find
mean, like
find what
for
excites
me,
you.
I was like sort of slowly developing art, drawing mostly like furry stuff and some anime stuff, and then like ponies came along, and that like pushed me to do way more because it was exciting and fun, and like I just always was trying new things, and I just sort of like had much greater improvements, especially once I actually started studying other artists properly, because that was the point where I mean I've always done like artist studies even when I first started out, but this was the point where I was actually able to start actually understanding how shapes work together and how these artists are making 3D spaces work. And then I think I just had this like explosion overnight where I was just getting. I mean, it's obviously still been a slow gain. I look at my pictures from like a year ago and I'm still like, no, I've like changed my style a bunch of times. But it's there are sort of leaps and bounds and plateaus, and yeah, it's just a matter of like in each step figuring out what your motivation is because it's always important.
Look at this picture. It's bad, but it's cute ponies doing cute things, and it's fun, and it gives me a life, and it makes me excited to keep on drawing. That's good. Especially like during the early days. You might not have this, but I had this because I was a paranoid person. I was like, oh no, my drawings are cringe. My drawings look bad, and it's hard to sort of break through that sort of stage and to keep
Yeah.
on drawing despite that. So I had to, for me personally, I had to be like, yeah, my drawings are bad. Yeah, my drawings look, you know, they don't look to the point where I would want them to look. If I showed anybody else this, I'd probably be like, ugh. But I didn't need to care. I could
Yeah.
open up my sketchbook and do things and then close my sketchbook and no one else had to see it. Or if I wanted to, everybody else could see it. I didn't, whatever.
I didn't mind
You're
showing
in
people my
control.
art when I was drawing, but I think what helped me was that the artist I was mostly studying at the time was, I think she was like 25, and I was at the time like 14, 15. So it was like, I couldn't conceive of that
Yeah.
amount of time happening. I couldn't conceive of being in my 20s. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be an artist for like an ancient, super long amount of time. Like an unknowable amount of time. I'm not gonna be a good artist. I was better at when I did finally get to the age. I was better than the artist was at the time when I was like inspired by them. At that same age. But it's a case of like I was like, well, whatever. I'm not gonna get good for like a super long amount of time, so I'm just gonna draw.
I was like 20, 24, or 25, so I was very self-conscious. I was like, ugh. But just find ways to make yourself excited. And I think, yeah, I think that's about all the philosophy
I,
we need to
I've
dig into today.
I learned quite a lot from tracing as well, Anonymous. Like
Oh yeah.
sometimes it can really help to sort of like sometimes when I'm looking at something, I see some people able to just put a picture aside and then they just start like copying it. And I'm sure if you mathematically like if you laid it over, the lines would be different. But it just looks so perfect to the eye. I'm like, how do you do this? But like sometimes I feel like I need to dig my hands into the picture, and I do that by tracing because it helps me to actually feel the lines out in a way.
Mm. Yeah.
It helps with
Uh,
exploring different shapes.
especially if you're just like getting lines down, you know,
Uh-huh.
learning how the people draw the things and this. Yeah, super good.
YouTube,
Tracing.
I did an experiment and turned off my web browser has like a built-in ad blocker type thing. I didn't like download one specifically, but I was like, oh yeah, I should turn this off while I'm watching YouTube. And then like it was giving me ads. It kept giving me like Clip Studio ads, which are like really long, and they're just like artists drawing for ages. And I'm like, yeah, I'll sit here for like 15 minutes and watch this ad. It's just an artist doing like a drawing stream while they talk about using Clip Studio's assets and why like using the models isn't cheating.
Mm.
Yeah, it's great. Because they're fun to trace and they help to like, understand anatomy a bit.
Google is crazy with all that. I started like a month ago. I started working for a logistics company, so a company that sends packages. And then I suddenly started getting all of these ads for logistics companies and for sending packages, and I'm just like, I've never even talked about this out loud with my how the fuck do you know? What the fuck? It's I probably shouldn't be swearing on the stream, but it's also I woke up not that long ago.
No, we get one a stream.
You get
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well I swear twice then, so I'm gonna die then.
Don't worry,
I
one's
get
an
You're
Australian
Australian,
swear.
you get-
We don't
yeah.
understand it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, one swear for an Australian is 2. It's the conversion
yeah.
rate.
Hmm.
I get
Yeah.
1.5, so it doesn't quite work as much.
Good drawing. You know, feel free to chuck us more stuff, and yeah.
All right. Well, I believe that's it for our stream today. No, am I crazy?
Thank you all for coming.
Did
I don't
we
think there's
talk?
another one, there.
Did we talk about tofu stuff already?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah, before the
we'll
stream.
private.
Perfect. Cool. Wanted to make sure. Also, Ali, what the hell? That's adorable. Oh my god.
Right?
Those
That's
horse sitting legs are so confusing.
Mm.
The perspective,
this.
especially the 1/3 perspective,
Yeah.
there's a lot of squish, and they're very bony, but like they're also ponies are chunky and marshmallowy. So like the skinny bony horse bends like really fold into each other. Where pony you have to like add more, and then they have to be extra squish.
Yeah, 'cause they're all
very,
chunky.
Bony,
I didn't
squishy
even think
foamy.
about the fact that horses sometimes sit like that, but you're right.
Didn't they do that in the movie?
But like that, I'm not sure.
I think so.
We'll have to sit and rewatch it.
All right, everyone,
This
we're
bad
gonna
boy
end
in
the
the bottom.
stream. Watch the movie. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Done.
All right. Well, so we can get on to watching our movies. We'll call it a day. Thank y'all for coming. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.